Finance ministers and central bank chiefs of the G7 nations descend upon Dresden today. Germany has stacked a tall agenda of big-picture themes spanning from economic growth to tax evasion. The reality is there's only one topic that will likely eclipse all others. Greece international correspondent Hans Nichols is in Berlin. Bloomberg News reporter Vassilis Karamanis is in Athens. Hans, of course, it is Greece. That is the only topic that people will be talking about.
That's absolutely right, Jonathan. I mean, we've heard some pressure from a U.S. official talking about how Jack Lew plans to press his European counterparts and warn them about the unpredictability of everything, of a potential disastrous event in Greece if they do default on payments. We have a couple developments overnight. One, late yesterday, Yanis Varoufakis insisted that Greece would make that $300 million payment to the IMF on June 5th. But his argument was couched. It was contingent, Jonathan, on the idea that they would have a deal and then get fresh cash with which they could actually make that payment with. So it's a bit of a circular argument from the Greeks. At the same time, you had a German official saying that they are confident, at least Germany's confident, that they think that IMF payment will be made. It will be a sign of goodwill, and they think talks and progress can proceed from there. We don't have a whole lot this morning on which to hang either optimism or pessimism. Everyone's still sorting out these comments, and we'll see where the day takes us, and everyone arrives in Dresden in just a few hours. Jonathan?
Hans, stay with us. Vassilis Karamanis in Athens. I want to bring him into the conversation. What's the view on this meeting in Greece, and do we expect anything groundbreaking from the ECB on ELA today?
Yeah, well, Athens expects Greece to be mentioned in the G7 summit, but the Brussels group is what the government focuses at the moment. The bottom line is that there seems to be little convergence on the talks right now. There seems to be convergence on the sales tax, but that's about it. There is optimism stemming from the Greek side that is not shared by its creditors at the moment. So what we need is a staff-level agreement by the end of this week, when the deadline set forth by Greece and its creditors expires. Now, I don't think anything groundbreaking will happen today from ECB's ELA review, as these talks are continuing. Some little or if any increase in the ELA amount because the deposit outflow in Greece has eased during the past weeks. It seems that we have reached a bottom of the bare minimum of deposits the system has right now. But it's the next one on Wednesday, the next Wednesday. After we have this deadline expired on the Brussels talks, if we don't have a staff level agreement by then, or a clear-cut announcement by all sides in this negotiation that we are converging, that there is a deal down the line, I think that's where the ECB will maybe have its patience were totally thin, and saying that yeah, maybe this is time we increase the haircut in the Greek bank's collateral.
Hans, of course, that could have a big impact on the markets. Larry Fink of BlackRock has been saying a Greek exit from the euro area less disastrous than making concessions. He sounds like a leader of the Spanish government, not BlackRock.
It sounds like he's been talking to Wolfgang Schäuble. This is an interview from Mr. Fink to a Danish newspaper, and he's talking about the implications that if you do make exceptions for Greece, what they'll mean for the pan-European project. And what Mr. BlackRock apparently wants to see, or Mr. Fink at BlackRock, excuse me, wants to see is certainty, decisiveness. That was the word he used. Because if you have some sort of exceptions for Greece, some sort of extraordinary case, then what happens with Spain? What happens with Italy? In some ways, it's what you hear somewhat privately from German officials, that you need to think about the overall European project. And at a certain point, and the finance ministry may be in one spot on this versus the chancellery, but at a certain point, there is a question of at what cost do you rescue, do you keep Greece in the euro? And that's weighing not just on German officials' mind and other European officials' mind, especially in Spain, but also apparently on the mind of some pretty big asset managers. Jonathan?